What's up, people? This is Mr. UV, aka Mr. Ultraviolet, and in this video, Super Fighters Legend of Shenron, we will be doing a list of tips that can help you increase your power as quick and as early as possible. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and get into the first tip, which is build up your best characters. Now this tip right here is specific towards each account. Everybody's account is going to be different early on based off who you're able to pull from your summons, or if you're willing to spend money, or if you're free to play. All right, now to note, I would say this, that you do want to fuse up whatever characters that you end up having the most duplicates of. All right, I do say this because when you fuse the characters to higher rarities, it allows you to reach higher level caps. All right, so epics start off at 100, then it goes up to 120, then 160, then 200, and so on and so on. All right, now to note, you do not have to use the characters that you are duplicating. All right, so let's say this whole top row right here, all these characters on my top row, I have a whole bunch of duplicates of them. I'm taking them to whatever rarity, let's say the epic plus that they are right now, but the characters that I want to use are just epics. I only have one duplicate or no duplicates at all of them. What I can do is put those characters that I actually want to use in Corn's tower, and they will take the level of the weakest character that I did level up. All right, now there is a note that you have to remember when you do this. Now, you might have a character that's in Corn's tower that's just an epic, and their max level is level 100. Because you have them in Corn's tower and the rest of your roster is 120, they will also go to 120, but they will be weaker than their counterpart if they did have the duplicates in them. Because every time you do fuse a character together, you get an extra bonus stats. And then as you level them up, you get stats. So when you use Corn Tower, they just get the level stats. They don't get that extra bonus stats when you fuse them. So they will be, you know, a little bit weaker than their counterpart if they were fused. But Corn's Tower is a great way for you to build your roster, especially if you have like good characters. Like later on, if you're free to play, you're not spending any money, you will get a copy of all of the URs in the tournaments, in the events when they come around. So you will get a copy of every UR, just one. Now, these characters are better than the standard SSRs that you get at the beginning of the game. So what you can do is put them in Corn's Tower. They also will get the levels of the characters that you are fusing. But remember, like I said, they won't be as strong as they would have been if they were fused. But it allows you to be able to still use these characters. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get into the second tip, which is level your gear. As you can see, I got all these gears with stars on them. All right, now I do recommend that you only level gear from Elite Plus, which is like the purple one with the little circle at the bottom left hand corner, and up, which will be, you know, gold, and then gold with the circle at the bottom, and then red with the circle at the bottom. So I only recommend leveling Elite Plus gear. Anything less than that, put it on your second team characters, your third team characters, and whatever you have as a remainder, use them to level up your gear that you are using. Now, when you are using the gear, you see like in the top left hand corner, they do have, you know, little kanjis, which is like the green, the red, the blue, the purple, the yellow, which goes corresponding with whatever type the character is. If you match that color or that type of gear with the character, if they have the same type, you will get an extra bonus on the gear. It is an extra 30%. All right, so you're getting an extra 30%. As you can see right here, it says I have 4,000 HP. Then next to it, it says extra 1,200 HP. So you're getting, as you can see right here, an extra 30% gear if the gear type corresponds with the character type. So this gear right here is a blue, and the character that I'm using, Vegeta SSG, he's also a blue type, so he's getting that extra 30%. So you want to level up those two. They should get priority over all the other gear that you have. Now you can mix and match the gear if you don't have the right types for that character, but you know, later on, keep in mind that you might get better gear. So it's not a problem leveling up if the gear don't match. Just do it to increase your stats, and later on you can take it off and put it on the character that it actually does match with. So I say certain gear is worth leveling up. I would say the feet at the bottom, the little belt at the bottom, and the middle one, the pants. Those right there, in my opinion, are the first ones that you should level up, because the pants increase your damage. The two at the bottom increases all your stats. All right, so those right there, you should level up. You know, they should get higher priority. All right. Now another thing is that where do you get the gear? All right, so you can get gear from 3 places in the game. All right, one of the places that you can get it free to play is from your AFK chest. Now, the more time that passes that you're not playing and it's just stacking up, the chest is just building, you will be able to gain gear. The more time that passes, the higher the rarity of the gear. All right, so another place that you can get gear is in the shop. All right, now you can get gear from different tabs in the shop. Sometimes you might have to refresh it, but as you can see, you can get higher tier gear in the shop. All right, like I said, just go through, you can see it. Some of this gear costs a lot. The easiest one that you can actually get is the first shop, the grocery shop. As you can see, I paid 1,000 diamonds for that one, but you do have to refresh it, and you have to get lucky with the typing that you're getting it from. All right, so the third place that you can get gear free to play is from your alliance. All right, now in the alliance, you can get it from the rewards. But this is also another spot that's going to lead to the third tip on the list, which is level up your R&D lab tab, which is the one that we're looking at right here. All right, so you want to level all these up. All right, now the bottom one that says all will level up all types. So it's a double stat on top of the ones that you specifically click. But the go-getter is that you do have to reach level 15 on all of the other ones. So tank, brute, Kai Master, support all have to reach level 15 before you can even put any resources into the all tab. All right, I do recommend that you level up the brute and the Kai Masters first, because they are your DPS, and that's the most important thing. Next, I would say, will be the tanks, and then obviously support, and then you can get into the all tab. All right, next tip on the list will be putting resources into Shenron. All right, so when you level up Shenron, basically it allows you to get higher stats on the skills and your characters, and basically all these skills do, you know, different things. You have ones that do damage, you have ones that heal, some that clears debuffs, some that gives you buffs like attack up, as well as some that will revive your characters. All right, so you get all the resources that's required to level up these different Dragon Balls from different various events in the game as rewards, and you get them daily. The actual game mode that you get it from, I think, is the universal one where you conquer the planets. All right, but in my opinion, the number one that you should put resources into is this one right here, the 4-star Dragon Ball, because it does damage and it has a chance to stun the 2 highest attack enemies on the team. All right, so it can stun them for 2 turns. All right, then you have you know, the heal one is good, the revive one is also good, which is this one right here. And then they did have one, if you've seen it, it was the second one I showed, where it does increase your attack as well as clear any debuffs you have on you. All right, so basically all these come and they go off during the match at different turns. All right, so when you line them up, as you can see, it has said skill cost at the bottom. That lets you know pretty much how many, you know, how much it's going to cost for the skill to go off. But pretty much it just means what turn or how long it's going to take you for the skill to go off during the match. And also the order that you line them up also, you know, determines how long it'll take for the skill to go off. All right, so if it has a shorter skill cost, it'll take longer for the skill to go off. And if it's in a higher spot, like the first slot, it will obviously go off first, and then second will go off, you know, faster than 3, even if it has a longer cooldown or skill cost than the third one. Alright, so all these get extra skills onto your characters, your stats, overall stats, as well as the skills. You can build the stats or damage output that they also inflict as well. Now you can reset these for the cost of diamonds if you do mess up and you want to just, mix around and try to figure out what you want to do with it. Now I will say this though, pretty much you can use these Dragon Balls to compensate for things that you don't have on your team. So if you don't have any healers, go with the healer one. Don't even have any, control, go with the stun, the attack up. If you don't have any, reviver, go with that. All right, so the next tip on the list is Cornstar. If you get the trend, pretty much in every video I have to mention this because it is very important for you gaining power and excelling in the game. All right, so basically we already covered it a little bit, but Cornstar allows you to gain extra power. Basically you can come in here and level up characters even if you're not even using them and you just want to use them for a specific game mode. You can come in here, let's say like one of the events I named the time chamber. The time chamber, you need various different types. You might need multiple, like 3 power or 3 speed. So if you're lacking in that department and you don't have too many characters that you're actually using of that type, you can just put them in Cornstar, use them to beat that event or that game mode, then you can take them out when you're done. It will have a timer on how long it'll take before you can use that slot that you removed them from. As you can see right here, it has 13 hours left. On this one that I removed someone from, it says 13 hours in the red. You see that? You can accelerate that timer or clear it out by using diamonds and skip past it. All right, now the next thing is spirit gems. All right, so that's the next tip right there. Now they do start from green rarity, then blue, then purple, yellow, and then I think they max out at the red ones. All right, as you can see, I have a bunch of green ones and blue ones. I also have some with purple that's actually on my characters, and I have one gold or yellow one. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna want to fuse these up. So you're gonna start off with your blues, work your ways up to your purples. You can use the green ones, but to me that's like a waste of gold just fusing those. But you want to start off with your purple, put as many purples on all your characters. So fill up your team 1, give them all the purples, your team 2, your team 3. Whatever you have left over, fuse them together and try to turn those into the golden ones or the yellow ones. Then put those on your characters. All right, now you don't want to just start off at the beginning of the game, just fusing everything, for 2 reasons. You do want to save some for your characters, and the other reason is it takes a lot of gold to do this. But if you have spare gold and you're done with that, then you can move on to reforging. All right, reforging is the way you re-roll the stat that's actually on the spirit gem. As you can see, this one has attack 248 and then a skill called light protection. All right, now if I want to re-roll and try to get another skill, maybe I want defense on it and then a defensive skill, then I will go down, hit reforge, and when I click reforge, it's going to give me a different skill. Well, it has a chance of giving me a different skill as well as a different stat bonus. All right, so we reforged and we end up getting attack 248 again. All right, it could have been something else, but we end up getting the same thing. And then we also got a different skill. This time we got battle momentum 1. Okay, now it is random, and you can look through and see what skill actually fits for your team composition or your heroes or what you have. Like I said, I would first put all purples on all my teams, my first team, second team, third team. Then I will go into fusing those extra purples together to try to get yellows and then re-roll. I wouldn't recommend re-rolling early on because you're probably going to end up getting better rarity. You're going to probably be using the yellows later on, so it's no point in you using all that gold and all of those reforged stones or resources on gear that you're not going to be using later on in the game. So just focus on fusing them, and then after that, re-roll the stats on the yellow ones once you have enough to put on all your teams. All right, so we'll go ahead and go into the next and last tip on the list, and that is formation. All right, so we'll go into arena just to show you the formation. This is very important. Make sure you click and choose your formation on all your arena teams. Every arena tab, make sure the defense is set, and make sure your defenses are set in every game mode. And the formations are very important because it's specific to what characters that you are using or you have on your roster. So I use this formation right here, and it's important because when you're playing the game early on, you're going to be going against a lot of characters to hit the back row. So what I like to do, I like to put my tank on the back row, because you have characters like Super Saiyan 3 Go tanks, or both of the Super Saiyan Blues, Goku and Vegeta. They hit back row. So with that being said, I want my tank on the back row, so he's the one that's going to take and absorb majority of that damage. If you have your damage dealers on the back row and you're going up against these type of team compositions, you might get killed real fast. It might end the game real early for you because your damage dealers are knocked out. So whatever works for you, or whatever you're going up against in your server, you might want to change the formations. And if you remember my tip I gave you in my last video about tips, I talked about using the friends tab and going in there and practicing, so you could do that without taking any L's. All right, but formation is very important. Sometimes you might want your damage dealers on the back, front, tanks, front, back. Just figure out what works for you. You go into the friends, like I said, and you just mix and ratchet, and you figure out what type of team composition you want. Now, something to note with the composition and the formation is your character will attack whatever slot. It doesn't matter where you have them at. Where they're going to attack and who they're going to attack is based off the description and the skill. So just because you're putting your damage dealers on the back does not mean they're going to attack the back. They're going to attack whatever the skill says they're going to attack at, whether it be front, back. All right, formation is for defense, so keep that in mind. Also, formation is for like specific skills, like your healers. It might say heal the front, but that's pretty much it.